Following is the meeting of the 664th Regular Arizona Racing Commission held at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. It is October 11th, 2018. Yes, sir.
I'd like to call to order the 664th Regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting. Today is November the 11th, 2018. It's October. Well, it should be November. It'll be closer to being out.
May I do roll call, sir?
Please.
Thank you. Commissioner Garay?
Here.
Commissioner Heupel?
Here.
Commissioner Lawless?
Here.
Commissioner McClintock?
Here.
Thank you, and good morning. As a public service, please silence or turn all cell phones off. If you must take a call, please be courteous to those around you and take the conversation out into the hall. Thank you. It's all yours.
Okay. Does anybody feel that we need to go into executive session? If so, I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
You need to call the item you're looking for session on.
Okay, this is
On D1?
item B1. Do I need to read the whole Sims versus Arizona Racing Commission?
You're doing
Ronald
it.
A. Sims appeal to the Maricopa County Superior Court. The Arizona Racing Commission's order to reject the gaming director's ruling to grant a racing license to Ronald A. Sims, case number 14A-020-RAC. The Commission may vote to go into executive session under ARS 38-431.03A3 in order to discuss or consult for legal advice with its attorneys.
I would like to go into to hear a little more on the latest updates.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, so we need a roll call.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes,
Thank you. It is 10:02 a.m. and the first open session is recessed for executive session. Everybody please. Time out, guys. Following is the second open session of the 664th Arizona Racing Commission meeting held at 1110 West Washington, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. And it is October 11th, 2018. Sorry, I'll bring it back on. The time is 10:15 a.m. and I will proceed with roll call. Commissioner Garay?
Here.
Commissioner Lawless?
Here.
Commissioner Heupel?
Here.
Commissioner McClintock?
here.
Thank you. And again, please silence or turn off all cell phones. If you must take a call, please take it out into the hallway. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to agenda item C, new business. The following new business items are for status report, presentation, discussion, and possible action by the commission. Item 1 is discussion regarding off-track betting contracts. Item A.
Let me go ahead and start here. You had asked us last month to come up with some options, and this is a difficult situation with no easy answers. As commissioners, one of your main objectives is to make decisions and policies that is in the best interest of racing in the state of Arizona. It's not just horse racing, but it's dog racing too, because we have 3 horse racing permittees and 2 dog racing permittees. None of them are going away anytime soon, so you have a responsibility to all of them. You guys asked us to come up with options, and maybe you want us to come up with option A, B, C, and D, and then give them to you so you can make a choice, but it's not that simple. One thing is clear is the OTB landscape is changing, especially in the horse racing industry, is changing in Arizona. In the past couple weeks, I've done some research. In 2013 through 16, a total of 18 horse racing OTB applications were brought to the Racing Commission and approved. Of those 18, 10 of those OTBs are either out of business or no longer selling tickets with their tap beer. So an OTB license does not guarantee success for anyone. Every business owner knows that it's how you treat your customers that dictates the success of a business. It's the same for a bar owner, same for a permittee, and it's called the free market. And that's where I think this issue probably should stay, is the free market. As a commission, you have an option of choosing the path you think may be best. But the division recognizes that these contracts were signed by both parties, presumably willingly. And eventually they will expire, as all contracts do. And both the bar owner and the permittee can choose whether to continue doing business together or separate. So that would be our advice.
Makes sense to me. Anybody have any discussion, questions? Okay, let's move on to item B, which is the rescission of the 140-day race requirement, which is ARS 5-112 D and E.
C, D, and E, sorry.
Look at the correct.
So C, D, and E. My apologies. Just call me Chuck Grassley. So,
Again, last month we had a lively discussion on this, and this was put on the agenda. We have 3 commercial horses racetrack committees, all of equal importance. They all create jobs, they all do tax revenues, and they all create tourism for their cities. This issue was brought up last month in regards to the dome expiring in January of 2019 and the end of the obligation of any permittee to pay for the right to broadcast horse signals in Pima County. Jay Wells of Riedo has been up here several times bringing to your attention that the disadvantage that Riedo has with trying to build purse money for their meet. He has referenced ARS 5112, which requires Riedo to run 140 days of live racing in order to have more than 20 dart days of simulcasting. And a dart day is those days that the racetrack can operate, take in signals, and their OTVs can take in signals, Santa Anita, Gulfstream, or whatever. They build purses for the meet. Other committees have come to this commission and said they are for the free market. And they want racing to succeed. I gave you copies of 5112, and you may want to consider Section E of that statute, which says, in an emergency and on showing of good cause by a committee, the commission may grant an exception to the minimum day requirement of subsections C and D. We're just pointing it out for the commission that this may be an option available to you in regards to the dome expiring.
anybody have any discussion on this rule? I mean, this, to me, seems like an archaic rule. You know, it looks to me like if we're talking about free markets, then everybody should be able to simulcast whenever, whatever they want to in their simulcast facilities. So, what legally do we have the legal right to change the statute?
No, but what he just read, what Greg just read. So we can grant an exception to the minimum racing day that's in the statute, so we wouldn't be changing
In an
the statute.
emergency.
In an emergency, so we would have
Showing
to
good cause.
consider the dome going away, the cause for,
Is a good cause in the best interest of horse racing.
Well,
I mean, I'm like you, I'm all for it, but my only concern is the language of in an emergency. Is the dome going away really considered an emergency?
Mr. Chairman, may I address that?
Sure.
Jay Wells from Retail Racing and Reno Park Foundation. I guess I guess the emergency is, the question is, would Rito be able to survive without the funds generated by Pima County wagering that we've been participating in for all these years, and then yet been denied to, in a free market system, to go out and compete for hospitality and et cetera, to bring folks in and wager and increase that amount that we do get. I think that if that doesn't constitute an emergency, I don't know what does. It'd be one thing if this was something of our own doing. That would not constitute it. In my opinion, that is free market. But this is a case where the regulations, as you say, are arcane, and we believe we've been put in a disadvantage. I think you've heard me tell this story now for the last 5 years. But we do believe this is an action that the commission is allowed to take. It does not mean that we just get free reign. We've still got to go and get approvals for dates and what we would do. One of the biggest elephants in the room is that for having a simulcast center at the park would require the county's blessings. And they have mixed emotions about that. Their latest stance has been that since it's a park, they have a hard time seeing a year-round gambling parlor. But on top of that, and assuming that there could be some negotiation that would get the county to allow us to do that, is secondly, it would be $250,000 worth of improvements to get the ADA facilities, et cetera, up in place. So this is not a decision that all of a sudden the cat's out of the bag. We've got to get the things in order. There is a process. What it does do is it eliminates the very costly and time-consuming issues of having legislation passed. And I think everyone knows how difficult it is to get anything through the legislature. And as small as we recognize that we are, we do believe that we're at a disadvantage that as well, just because we are a 501c3 nonprofit trying to save a little bit of Arizona history, not really trying to compete for every wagering dollar in the state. We would request that the commission vote to allow this to be considered an emergency and to allow us to come back to you with a plan that would allow to show us how we could get that and be able to survive. It's really that simple.
Well, it occurs to me that it is an emergency because there's no racetrack in the state that races 140 days. So,
just for a little bit of history, the legislation that we've been asked to have changed now since the time that the Dome Rule was written out of existence or put into sunset, which happens at the end of December, was racing legislation speaks of the counties in language of counties with 1.5 million or more, counties with a population of 500,000 to 1.5 million, and 500,000 or less. Well, the first one is clearly Maricopa, the second is Pima, and the rest of the states fall in the category of 500,000 or less. And that language has been modified for all of the others. For those counties that have 500,000 or less, it just disappears. It just strictly was taken off the books. Ergo, Arizona Downs had the right to start opening up parlors without any question. For Maricopa County, their original was not 140 days. I do believe it was 156 or 157. And the language was simply changed to say that they could run less days if they had the permission of the representative organization for the horsemen, meaning the HBPA. So the last 2 years, we have put the legislation forward and suggested that we have one or the other. And we're in the middle. We're the middle child. So what do we do here? We're going to be fought through the legislature regardless. It is going to cost us a lot of time and money. We think this is a legal shortcut. I'll put it there. If you recognize this as an emergency, and it gives us standing to now negotiate for what's going to go on with parlors, et cetera, in Pima County, with much more of a free market behind us. I believe that's our case.
yeah, thanks, Jay.
Yeah, I agree, and
Any
thank you.
questions?
I think it does help out, because since the legislature really didn't define emergency for us, I feel a lot more comfortable going, if we went this route, that we do meet the emergency.
Well, nobody races 140 days, so
Oh, my dog's getting backyard.
I would entertain a motion to grant this and let the legislature decide what they want to do down the road. Vince?
Mr. Chairman, I may ask for a point of clarification.
Sure.
For the record, Vincent Francis, General Manager of Turf Paradise. Assuming the commission would declare an emergency and rescind the requirement, what then does it give the permittee the right to do? That's the question.
Simulcast horse racing would be.
But they would have to go through a lot more steps before they could even get there. I think they have to get county approval. Was that correct, Jay?
Yes.
And
Okay, so the answer, it will give Rito the right to simulcast.
Yeah.
they can run OTBs year-round.
How many days does church run right now? Is it under 140?
31, 132.
Oh, all right, so
Yeah.
Jerry, you have something?
Just a clarification. I'm not sure, I thought Jerry Sims, Turf Paradise. I just want to get a clarification. I'm not sure what I heard. I heard Jay say something about that would give him the right to do something about, something to do with OTBs. And I wasn't sure if somewhere in this approval could be the right for him to open off-track betting sites.
I would assume that he would have the right to open an off-track betting site, right? Wouldn't
At his location,
he? Or another location.
that's what we're talking about? I would have to go through.
We're talking about, nobody runs 140 days.
yeah, right now, you can't
You can't.
have simulcast.
Yeah.
Well, that rule doesn't apply to us.
Right.
Oh,
Because.
See, it just applies to that particular county. I'm in favor of them being able to simulcast at their facility year-round and raise more money. But opening off-track betting, I mean, as far as an emergency, we've all known this is coming off for 2 years.
I think this gives them the ability to have a OTB in their facility there.
That would be fine with me.
Any OTBs
That'd
would
be
have to
fine.
come again before us for any approval.
That'd be fine. But what I was hearing was the right to go out and start opening OTBs. And as far as that, I mean, this has been known, this was granted from the legislature. And if they want to change that, I mean, it's a 2-year period of him knowing this was happening. And to come in here and be able to, I'm happy, like I say, if he wants to simulcast all year and make his facility an OTB, I'm in favor of it. But if he wants to go out controlling and opening OTBs and get out in the market, that's a far cry from that. By the way, I could make the place run, I told him, with none of the above. I had offered that I would take over Relio. We would run it as long as we're there. And I'd make sure the purses stayed at a minimum of where they are, and we don't need any additional money. And when no one was excited about it, I took it off the table, but I could still think about doing that because it's not difficult with the revenue I looked at to make that place make some money for and raise purses even. But we want to try it for a year, get into it, and we think we could do that. Because we'd also use our staff. You know, our racing secretary would book their races, and our mutual people would do them. So we'd still use some of the students, some they pay, some they don't. But I'd be in favor of them if they want to run an OTB, but if they want to circumvent what the legislature did, claiming some emergency that they've known about for 2 years and could have gone back to the legislature, that doesn't seem like it'd be right. But like I say again, repeating myself, I'd be happy if they want to operate at that facility and simulcast all year long and make money for themselves. That'd be fine with me.
okay, good.
Would you like for me to speak to that? Or do you have another?
I don't know.
We have enough. So, do we have a motion to grant an exception?
Do we have to read the whole? I move to send a 140-day race requirement under ARS, make sure I get it right, 511, 112, C, D, and E.
Very good.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion?
I'll discuss now.
Okay, so shall I take a roll call?
Please.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Item 2 under new business is the approval of Turf Paradise's OTB network.
Yes, this was put on the agenda for the last month. The staff has been working with Turf Paradise on their OTB network. We met a couple of weeks ago and have identified a few issues on the ownership of some OTBs. They are working with us to clarify that issue. Specifically, what we're finding is we have OTB contracts and things that are submitted to us, they're signed by an entity, yet we're not able to find out if there's an LLC behind that specific location and things of that nature. So we've done some research, and I applaud Turf Paradise. They've stepped up at the table, and they've come to the plate and said we will rectify this situation as quickly as possible. A letter was sent out 2 weeks ago to all these OTBs in question, asking them to just clarify for us the structure of the bar ownership, whether it's an LLC or corporation. If it's a sole proprietorship, that's fine. They're taking the individual risk of that. But we're just clarifying some things. So based on this, we're satisfied going forward that we're going to be able to solve these issues.
Good.
So does this take a motion?
I believe it does.
I move we approve Turf Paradise OTB network.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yep.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, item 3 is the approval of Rito Park Racetrack's 2019 race dates. And they are A, February 9, 10, 16, 17, 23, 24, and March 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 10th, 16th, 17th. Should I go ahead and read item B? March 23rd and 24th as designated rainout days in event of rain cancellation.
I move to approve.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, new business item 4, Arizona Downs off-track betting facilities. Facility A is Gallagher's Dining and Pub at Lake Havasu City. Right?
Yes, Arizona Downs submitted this application. We've gotten the approval from Lake Havasu City. It's been through their city council, it's been approved by them. Everybody regarding the location has been licensed, they're ready to go. We've done the research on the ownership, and we recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries. Gallagher's Dining and Pub has been approved.
New business item 4B, Connolly Sports Grill, Carefree Highway, Phoenix.
Same thing last month, Arizona Downs requested this. We've gotten the city of Phoenix approval on this location. Everybody is licensed. We've researched the ownership, and they're ready to roll, and we recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries. Connolly Sports Grill is approved.
Item 5, TP Racing LLP request approval of 2018 charity race dates, Saturday, November 3rd, Friday, November 23rd, and Saturday, November 24th. I have a question about this, Vince. You know, November 3rd is Breeders' Cup Day. So that make any, yeah. Okay. So you're being very charitable. That's nice. So, I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. The requests for the charity race dates in 2018 have been approved.
Hopefully one of the charities is Coyote Adoption.
There you go. Okay, new business 6A, Brookside 2 Lounge, 15170 West Bell Road. This is for American Greyhound Racing, request for approval of a dog race OTB at the Brookside 2 Lounge, 15170 West Bell Road, Surprise, Arizona.
Yes, you are correct. This is currently a horse race OTB that has been approved within the Turf Paradise Network. American Greyhound has come to an agreement for a dog race OTB as well. They've gone to the City of Surprise. City of Surprise approved it, and they're ready to roll, and we recommend approval.
I move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless.
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel,
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries, and the Brookside Lounge has been approved as an OTV.
Okay, and that gets us to item D, information reports. So Greg, you're up with the safety.
Absolutely. This week, and again, I always say this, staff is always our safety stewards. They're out there constantly looking. The last couple of weeks, we've been fortunate that we've had a little bit of rain here, and we were able to do some barn searches, go through some barns, check for leaks and things like that. And there was a significant, what I would call, leakage on several barns in rows A, B, C, and D. There were leaks in general in a lot of locations. In certain spots, there were leaks within the stalls, and the horses were being dripped on. So we brought this to Turf Paradise's attention. Yesterday, there was the horsemen's meeting out at Turf Paradise, and Turf Paradise management had indicated that they were working fast and furious to correct those issues that they were identified. I've actually seen some crews on top of some roofs repairing the damage, whether they're patching and things of that nature. But this was a significant event, and I think Turf Paradise would agree over the course of the summer with some of the monsoons, they've had some additional storm damage to some of the barns. So going forward, they're going to have to be repaired. They're going to have to be, patched in certain instances, and then maybe somewhere down the line, there may be some look at doing something more permanent on the issue. We talk about this every time. Potholes return as soon as it rains. The potholes are there. Turf Paradise Management mentioned yesterday in the horsemen's meeting that they were going to have them patched this week. We'll watch for that happening. I took a real good walk around the complex. If you've ever been on the backside, on the west side of the complex, there's a drainage ditch where the water goes down. It was nice to see that was clear, and it was a lot of flow to the water. Over the course of the season, that gets, the weeds and things like that. So we'll look at that to make sure that's constantly clear. But there is some, drainage issues. There was the main gate right before the training track that was a little off, and that had a little storm damage. It's got some cones around it. That's going to be needed repair. Took a look through the backside restrooms. I looked at it about noon on a day after everything was done, so they were dirty and things of that nature, but it looks that they're doing some painting and things of that nature, kind of putting together a little bit more attention to the restrooms back there. I didn't turn on shower heads or flush toilets or like that. I just did a general look through. Also went through the paddock. It looks fine. It's ready to roll for Saturday. It looks nice. The starting gate I inspected. It looks, adequate at this point in time. Did the equine ambulance. It was fine. It looked like it was ready to roll. Took a tour of the test barn. Haven't done the lighting inspection yet in the morning, but I will go ahead and do that. But all in all, the complex looks pretty good, other than the issues with the roofs and some of the other patchwork things they do from time to time, which again I think we've talked a little bit about maybe doing some permanent fixes along the line, but I'll defer to Turf Paradise to have that plan. I did take a look at the training track a couple weeks ago, and there has been some issues with that that I think has been brought up to management over the past couple of years, and it has to do with the inside rail on the training track. It's a little uneven, and what I mean by that is in certain spots you'll take a tape measure and it'll measure 38 inches, and then you go to another spot and maybe 30 inches, and so it's just uneven. So there's going to have to be some maintenance to that to make sure that it's a little bit more uniform. And I'll reach out to the NRTA for that type of stuff. There's got to be somebody out there that has rules and things as far as the safety of training track and rails and things like that. And I'll bring it to the attention at that point in time. So all in all, everything looks good, ready to roll. We're excited about Saturday. I can tell you, if we switch gears here, the equine fatality, Commissioner McClintock, you were there on the meeting we had on Monday. to review the fatality report, come up with ideas and things that we could do for this year to prevent catastrophic injuries. It was a big group. All 3 committees attended, and there were some other additional people. The HBPA were there. Some vets. We all had a lot of ideas on what to do. Out of that came a letter that we sent to each committee asking them to agree upon certain situations, certain additional protocols that we asked for. And I think everybody wants to strive to get these down to a manageable level, if there is a manageable level to this. It's one of the things. I can tell you that as of today, and I haven't heard anything different, we have gone through the month of September and half of the month of October, and I do not believe we have any fatalities reported at this point in time, which is a positive. We all are in concert that this needs to continue this effort. We've agreed to meet monthly for right now. The next meeting is October 30th. And it's something that I think, going forward, we'll have some positive results.
Greg, I know you've worked hard on this, and I appreciate all the effort you've put into it. And I think, the thing I got out of the meeting was that continue to meet, continue to monitor the situation, and make adjustments as needed. And I'm happy to hear that there have been no catastrophic breakdowns in the mornings and the training. So that's great. Thank you very much for everything you've done.
I do have a question. What is the requirement for anyone that's on a horse? Are they required to have a helmet and a vest on? I know at Rialto last year, I was a little shocked to find out that they could be out riding the horses and didn't have to have a vest on.
They have to have a vest and a helmet.
All times.
Yes. If they're on the track, and we look for that.
Okay. Yeah, because I had a jockey chewing me out last year when I told him to get a vest on, so just want to make sure I don't get chewed out again.
Right. Anybody else?
No.
All right, item 2, the budget report. Director Casillas.
At this time, the budget is looking good, no areas of concern.
Okay, thanks. Okay, now we're down to the committee reports. American Grant, Steve.
Could I ask a question to the director? Steve Nolan, in the Racing Industry Director, concerning the budget. On November 11th, front page article came out concerning litigations and costs that could fall on the Department of Gaming, I believe, and maybe Ms. Ray could help with some of this. I do notice on a ruling from the court on October 2nd that the judge has put it off to the Court of Appeals to decide, and if it gets put back to the current judge, then there could be an awarding of fees. Do these fees come from the department? Will it be a burden on the Arizona taxpayer? And the reason I'm here, I certainly think that any of those fees, which could be significant, could be put better use, maybe in the breed program, a stimulus program for the breeds. I mean, I see a lot of burden on an industry due to litigations, and even maybe the Arizona taxpayer. The numbers I had got through public records requests were a little different than what were in the article that Dennis Wagner had wrote. So if you could just address that could be a big concern to the industry and or even the state of Arizona. Thank you.
I'll try to address that for you, Mr. Nolan. You're correct that the case was ruled on, so to speak, by Judge Thomason from Superior Court. Basically, he indicated that he was not going to rule on the request for attorney's fees because the matter was appealed to the appellate court. And until it comes back to Superior Court to Judge Thomason, he's going to basically withdraw from making an official ruling as to whether attorney's fees will be awarded. Now, if they are awarded, it's up to the judge to determine what amounts and who is to pay. The department could be responsible. It's open-ended. I can't speak openly for what the judge is going to rule on. So it's open-ended at this time.
And as we noticed, counsel for the commission was here, they are still incurring fees that are still being paid by risk management, is that correct? Or I'm not sure how that all works with the department.
That is correct.
So there's still an abundance of fees being paid and may be hit with a large at some time in the future.
Possible.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to address it.
Thanks, Steve. All right, back to committee reports. American Greyhound Racing.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Aaron Feinberg on behalf of American Greyhound Racing. We're excited to open our new OTB, Brookside at Surprise, and it's really all we have at this time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Arizona Downs.
Sorry, Brother Tom isn't here today. Dave Author for Arizona Downs. I was talking to Jerry Sims, and he said he'd pay that $10 million bill by himself. Is that right? That's fine. Just kidding.
That's why you left.
You guys trying to raise money now.
Just kidding. Construction, so the Arizona Downs report, I think, would be in two parts. One would be the good news, and the second would be some of the not so good news. Construction is continuing up at the track. We're finished the first floor. We're working on the second and third floors. The third floor is the bar and club rooms. The other day we had surveyors out at the track to begin the process of reconditioning and rebuilding the track. So they've done the survey and they're sending their findings and results to Dennis Moore, who is our track designer and construction company. So that's going well. Thank you very much for we've got 4 new OTBs open, Museum Club, Connolly's, Bull Shooters, and Gallagher's. And thanks to Turf Paradise for not objecting to any of those today. We appreciate that. I wanted to say thanks to Jerry, but he's not here, and it would have been the first time I've said anything nice about him, probably. But if he's not here, he doesn't hear it, but I'm sure Vince will pass that on.
He got mad.
What's that?
He got mad and left.
And so things are going great with respect to our business plan and what we wanted to do up at the track. The current hurdle, however, is an issue that we met with a couple of the commissioners and with Mr. Sims the other day, and that is if Tom Lawless and Rory, how do you pronounce your last name? Goray. I've been calling you the wrong thing for a year. Mr. Garay and Mr. Lawless may not have been updated by Mr. McClintock and Mr. Heifel about our issue with respect to getting the signal from Monarch. Monarch has refused to give us the signal for any of the 4 new OTBs we have, although they have given us the signal up at the simulcast room. And there's a variety of reasons they've alleged, and I won't go into that because it'd take me a year to go into all that, but the concept is that we are marshaling as many people as we can on our side, and persons interested in the horsing industry, including the horsemen who have offered to send a letter to Monarch, including the commission, which I'm hoping you'll be able to give those folks a call over there. We've talked to them. We're at loggerheads right now, and the reason it's a problem is because, as you know, and most of the folks out here probably know, that the Monarch signal is the premium signal for us. And if we don't get that signal, it's going to be wiener dog races up there and kids riding on ostriches, because you can't run a decent meet with the type of purses that we can earn without the Monarch signal. So I would encourage anyone who has any influence or knows anyone at Monarch at all encourage them to kind of see the light and understand that what they're doing is not, it's just killing horse racing in Arizona, and it certainly will kill Arizona down. So I appreciate the help we're getting, and even Jerry has offered to not object to our plan, and we just need to get that done. I think yesterday, I believe I sent you all the case that Jerry had cited. I don't think it has anything to do with anything, so hopefully you can move forward on that. Let me finish with this. We don't even have the Turf Paradise signal because Monarch controls the Turf Paradise signal. It's kind of inconceivable to us that the track down the street from our OTBs couldn't even send us an Arizona track signal. And so that's, we've got to be able to fix that. It's kind of an intolerable situation right now. They're opening in this weekend, and I just want to emphasize the importance of getting that done. Thank you. Any questions about how that's going?
Sounds like you're making progress.
Yeah, I hope
for
so.
Monarch.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you very much.
Well, who is Monarch suit?
I'm sorry. The Monarch has Del Mar, Santa Anita, Gulfstream, Turf Paradise.
Northern California, Maryland.
Can I help you a little bit here?
Sure. I need all the help I can get.
Bob Hutton, President of HPPA. Monarch is the big hammer, and we all got a small hammer. And they dictate, they cannot compete in the marketplace if they're, not to slam these other tracks, but if they're showing Zia Park and Indiana Downs and Tampa Bay, and the other Turf Paradise is showing Gulfstream, Santa Anita, Del Mar. They just can't compete, and it's an unfair advantage. I have myself called Monarch and tried to, with hat in hand, try to convince him it's the right thing to do, it's the fair thing to do, and there's no financial limitation as far as they're concerned. It can only help them. It was stonewalled, but I left the conversation very nice, and we're going to go back. We're going to write a letter. We're going to state facts, financial facts, as far as the handle in Arizona was when Yavapai Downs was operating was much higher than it is today. So it is a fact that multiple tracks can survive. To make Dave's other point, we believe, the HPPA believes, that it can only benefit Arizona racing if all the track owners show each other's signal. And at Turf Paradise, they would show Relito, they would show Arizona Downs, and vice versa for Turf Paradise to be shown all over the state. So I just want to make that point. I think that's important, that it shows that we're supporting Arizona racing and all the hard work that the horsemen do to get to this point. And there's some things that are just laws or that are getting in the way from things like this happening. In this point, it's Monarch, and they've got some issues, and I don't want to go into the issues, and some of you guys have heard them, and because I've talked to Jay on the phone, and we're trying to work through them, but it is a tough nut to crack, and they hold the hammer, so we're trying to flood them with facts to help everybody, and not only Arizona Downs, but Relito. When they go if they're going to be allowed to show their and have OTBs down there, as far as so they can make the income to go ahead and have a better racing. So I just want to say that for on behalf of these gentlemen out here.
Doesn't Monarch control about 50 to 60% of the handle?
It's been
If they didn't have Monarch, their revenue would be down.
Oh,
40 or 45%. So it's or more. 60%.
Substantial.
Yeah.
It's the only real big tracks, and you guys know this, is the New York tracks and the Kentucky tracks. But besides that, it's Monarch. They're the guys, and they know it. They know it. So.
Thanks, Bob.
Item C, county fairs. report. Jay Rito. I've got a question. Do you guys get the Monarch signal?
Yes, we do. At least we have in the past. Just to add 2 cents to that, this is a classic case of the difference between free trade and fair trade. And you guys are the ones that need to make free trade fair trade. That's your power, that's your authority, that's our trust in you to come in and basically shepherd the industry. This situation just, I find it incredulous that this whole situation could come up. And I do think that we're at a tipping point. And we've had a chance to really take Arizona racing over the top and get on the downhill side and make this industry grow. If we all work together, you've heard me say it over and over again, but this is a classic case in point where your authority, your power, and basically our trust in you guys to guide the industry needs to be weighed in on this thing. What's happening in the Arizona Downs, I can empathize 100%. Having said that, a couple of things. Thank you, first of all, for the votes today. Thank you for our dates. This is the first time we've ever had approval from the county, the commission, etc. So we're ready to get our campaign on sponsorships, table sales, etc. roaring to go. It's going to be fun. I do want to share something else with you. I think last time I told you that we have 7 kids going from the University of Arizona to the Breeders' Cup to serve as official interns. We're very honored with that. The Jockey Club has reached out to us, and they are trying to find a relationship. They've taken a new attitude of helping support smaller tracks, and we certainly think Rito deserves their attention, and we're proud that they have come to us first, so we're excited about that. I also want to share with you that Tuesday I was at the Arizona Quarter Horse Museum in Amarillo, Texas. If you've never been, make a trip to go and see it. It's a pretty fascinating museum. I think everybody knows that Rito is the birthplace of American quarter horse racing in the modern form, the rules and regulations. And so to give you a little bit of the history, our stables have now been finished to open up as the Rito Horse Racing Heritage Museum. And so the AQHA is helping us to bring this thing together. We've got bronze statues of Pick and String and Queenie, they're both done by the same artist that sculpted the full-size statue of Seabiscuit at Santa Anita. So these are not trivial pieces of artwork. The archives of the American Quarter Horse Association have been opened up to us. And in the early days, they started the American Quarter Racing Association here in Arizona. And their motto was an ounce of speed is worth a pound of hot air. And they didn't really care whether it was a quarter horse, a thoroughbred, a pinto. They didn't care what it was. It was who can run the race the fastest. So these guys started the organization, got the rules going, basically set the template for what is now, quarter horse racing as recognized in modern form. But going through this, there was a huge fight in the early days when Rito first opened between the American Quarter Horse Association, who resented the fact that these guys out of Tucson, Arizona were allowing anything to run a quarter race and assuming that they were quarter horses. And it was a very contentious back and forth. I was able to see the letters between the two heads of the parties. And after seeing that, I've decided to change the motto of Rito Racetrack to Rito Racetrack. We've been fighting since the 40s. Have a good day.
Thank you. Item E, Tucson Greyhound.
Hi guys, Alicia Heiser here, Tucson Greyhound Park, nothing to report.
Okay, and I noticed that 2 Michaels have signed up to speak, but are you guys happy with the way things go? Okay, good. Turf Paradise.
To re-identify Vincent Francia, General Manager of Turf Paradise. To start, I'd like to say I appreciate the levity offered by Mr. Author. I think anytime a little bit of laughter comes into this room, it's welcome. So I'd like to continue.
At your expense.
If I can, on matters of safety, those that Mr. Stiles brought up, because we work very closely on this because it's equally important to both the division and, of course, the racetrack. Pot Hill, let's start with the potholes. They were filled in the summer, but these recent rains, not the monsoon rains, the ones that we just had recently, created other potholes. They're actually being filled today, the pothole problem. Let me address the training track rail. We did lower it this summer at the request of the HBPA, and we did so by lowering the earth, but it didn't accomplish what we had hoped. The alternative plan right now is the rail can be raised, but it's called with sleeves. In other words, you're taking the individual stanchions, you are cutting them, and you're putting in a sleeve to raise the rail. That's going to be a little difficult to do while training is going on. However, not impossible. I want to get the race meet open first, and then maybe we'll set 3 days aside where we will close the training track. And before we close the training track, we take that very seriously because it forces all the traffic onto the main track, which can create problems that way. But that is something we're looking to do to get the rail to a level that the HBPA would be satisfied with. The barns and the main building took quite a hit during these recent rains. What the staff is doing now is they've identified the 5 worst barns to address them immediately. It's not just the Turf Paradise staff. We're bringing in crews from the outside to get these barns fixed as quickly as possible. Additionally, the recent working with the division on the 37 off-track betting sites that we needed, well, the division needed, but we needed too, clarification on what the current corporate structure is, working with the department on the horse fatality issue. To me, this is most rewarding. It is the example of how they're regulated, and the regulators should work in concert to identify a problem and come up with a solution. So we look forward going to that. The fact that when it comes to the horse fatalities, we're going to meet every month, I think is a good thing to do if something happens during that month. But if nothing happened during that month, we would want to know why nothing happened, why there were no fatalities. Were we doing something different out there that brought about this result? So I'm very encouraged about that. In regards to the off-track betting sites, the 37 will reply. They've all received letters, and then we'll go into the second phase. The department is going to come up with a form letter so that we can do this on a yearly or bi-yearly basis, because these off-track betting sites, many being bars, ownership changes, and the division needs to be aware of that. So we have a plan going forward. In regards to Monarch, what it does do is those tracks who are members of Monarch, it protects them. There's Monarch, there's Twin Spires, and there's NYRA. If Turf Paradise were not with Monarch, and we and the Horsemen do it jointly together, then Churchill, Twin Spires, and which owns Arlington Park and another Kentucky track and some tracks in Louisiana, or NYRA could charge whatever rates they want. Since we are a part of Monarch, which represents a number of tracks, they can't do that. In regards to anything else, I have been with Mr. Sims since he purchased the track since 2000. He always listens to my counsel. He seeks it. He may have another way of going, and if that's the case, then that's the decision we go forward. My counsel to him on this matter is to stay clear of it. This is the matter between Monarch and Corey Johnson, between Monarch and Arizona Downs, and I believe if Turf Paradise would do anything to help, we would get blamed. And that's just the political climate right now. I wanted to avoid it. That is not to say that the Horsemen should not step in and do their part. That's all I have to say about Monarch. Let me get to opening day. It's a little over 48 hours away, and we're ready to go. We have the extra added privilege of having the Governor of State, Governor Ducey, there for opening day. He's part of the ceremonies that are honoring our military veterans, and he's going to be presenting a trophy. So it's a good way to open the race meet, we feel. And the last thing I want to say, and I can't say enough good, I can't say it often enough or loud enough, but working with Mr. Casillas and Mr. Stiles as we went through a number of challenges this summer, and currently we're still working through, has been very rewarding. If there's no questions, I'll sit down.
How many horses do we have so far this year?
I did check this morning, I think we're around 1,300. That's the other thing that's happened this year, which has been different from the previous years. The demand to get in has never been quite at this level, so we're going to have plenty of horses for the race meet, which is always welcome.
That's great. Thanks, Vince. All right, item 4, the optional industry stakeholder association updates. Arizona County Racing Association. Arizona Greyhound Association. Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association.
I'm just excited for opening weekend. We've got lots of good quarter horse racing, and that's about it.
Thanks, Laura. Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. And the HBPA. You guys, you're all welcome to say
Speech. Commissioners, Director, staff, Leroy Gussman, the Arizona HBTA. First of all, let me say, probably the number one complaint I get in 2 years of working with the Horseman and Turf Paradise, the number one complaint I get is the condition of the restrooms. I know my friend Greg here reported that he thought they looked okay. I can tell you they don't look okay. I have several pictures on my phone. I'd be glad to share with any of you whenever you'd like to see them. I'd be glad to give any of you a tour of the backside restrooms. There has been an attempt to repaint them, but the toilets still don't all work. The showers don't work. There's no shower curtains. There's toilets with no doors on the stalls. There are mold growing in the restrooms. This is something that needs to be taken care of. These people deserve clean restrooms. Moving on, we have had a busy week getting ready for opening day. I will say that the horsemen are excited about the condition of the track. They said the condition of the track has never been better. And maybe that has something to do with our no breakdowns. So whatever they are doing with the track, I would hope they would keep up that maintenance program because it's working well. We had a 5.5-hour board meeting the other night, getting caught up from the summer. But we're off and running. We had our general membership meeting yesterday. That went very well. We had a lot of good discussion from all, and a good attendance from our horsemen. So we're all excited about opening weekend, and we had some good entries for the first day and the first weekend, so we hope that carries on.
Good.
Any questions?
And I don't need to see dirty pictures from your
Yeah.
but I'm going to be coming out Saturday myself, and I'll be taking just a personal tour and going around, and I'll make sure I check the bathrooms and stuff like that.
Okay.
Question, are you meeting with somebody from the HPPA or not?
No, I'm just coming out, but if somebody wanted to, I just don't know yet what
Stop by the
time.
HPPA with somebody over the weekend.
But no dirty pictures.
Well, you get to see the real thing.
Mr.
Live and in flight.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I miss you.
Please state your name again for the
Bob
record.
Hutton.
Thank you.
President HPPA. Just want to, some of you have known that the HPPA has been involved in the stakeholder meetings as far as trying to motivate the track representatives to go ahead and work well with each other as far as, because the landscape is changing with Arizona Downs and Raledo and Turf Paradise and the OTB situation. And I would tell you that we've had, I think, 3 meetings, and I don't think we've been very successful, to say that. And as far as I don't think we've gotten very far. I'm going to plead with the commission to take a more aggressive stance on some of these issues, as far as, so everybody, all the stakeholders know what because there's a lot of unanswered questions. One of the questions I was asking myself when Jay came up was, does this allow them to open up OTBs in Pima County, or does it allow them to open up OTBs in the whole state? You know, as far as what are the guidelines that he is expected to operate under? And I think we've got to tighten the loopholes a little bit, because as far as the HPPA is concerned, we're caught in the middle, and we cannot be seen as playing favoritism towards one track or the other. It puts us in a very bad situation going forward, as much as we want to help. And we represent, like I said at the general meeting yesterday, we represent the horsemen. Our job is to represent all the horsemen, and the tracks are not included in that. And it puts us in a very awkward position as far as when we have three parties there, and everybody wants something from each other, and they look at us, and it's, we can't play any favoritism, because we're only looking out for the best interest of the horsemen. And I know that a lot of guys here are breeders, and these people have suffered for a long time as far as the breeds in the state. We're down from, I understand we used to have over 400, Mr. Owens, and now we're down to like 65. 68. Yeah, 68. And those are the horses that run here year-round, right? Because they're Arizona bred. Just like if you have a Cal bred, you're going to run them in California. And the reason that there's not more breeds in this state is because there's no money. Right. No money for the breeds. And the only way to get more money is to increase the popularity of the sport, and to bring the younger millenniums in the as far as turning them onto the sport and generating more income. And you know, we want to help as far as the promotion of the racetracks, all the racetracks, because it's good for the horsemen. But I think the commission needs to take more of an aggressive stance as far as telling what the rules are, or because it's all changing. And if you need our help, we'll be glad to sit down and give you our opinion. But I think it falls on you guys, not us. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, I think that goes back to some of the discussion we were having earlier about what powers do we have. You know, you've been here, what, a year longer than I have. We're the two longest, and we don't even really realize what all we have available to us.
Yeah, we almost needed an orientation meeting for the commission to tell us what legally we can do, because we get feedback from all the participants that we'd like for you to do this, and then somebody else will say you legally can't do that. So we need to know, as commissioners, what we can and can't do. And I don't know how to set that up, Rudy and Greg, but I'd be interested in having a session, probably with Deanie, giving us advice.
We can go ahead and arrange for that. We'll plan and get back to you as far as some dates that we can provide.
Yeah, because our goal, obviously, is to make racing better in Arizona for everybody.
Right.
I mean, we don't want to play favorites. We want everybody to have a level playing field. And we just need to know what we can or cannot do.
Only hammer I know is regarding wiener dog racing.
Yeah, this is a hammer wiener.
Yeah,
Steve?
just a observation as you make these statements. I will tell you, and I want to be so respectful to the department, but permitting responsibility, rule number 1, I'm going to give you 5 operative words: clean, neat, safe, compliance, immediate. The rule is there. Shouldn't be open for discussion. If they order it, it's there. They have the rules already, and I just think it's, like they said, it's time to implement clean, neat, safe, compliance, immediate. Secondly, and again, all due respect, I've been coming to these commission meetings for decades, 3 decades now. And here we are on the verge of the opening of another meeting. And I believe if we go back to the minutes of the May meeting, Mr. Stiles had stated where most of these things were going to be addressed through the summer. To me, we have Groundhog Day today. They get up, they say what they're going to do, just like they did last year, just like the year before. The summer goes by, none of it's been completed, they're in a hurry, they promise. It's Groundhog Day. They have the rules. I hope you do get with them in order. It's not open for discussion when you have a rule compliance immediately. And it's just an observation, and I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Steve. Jockey Bill, Tom, you have anything to report? So, item E, commission reports, summary of current events affecting the Arizona Racing Commission. Only commission members or the director may report. No discussion or action may be taken on matters reported unless properly noticed for legal action or discussion. Anybody have any current events?
I would like to put on the record that there may be a possible quorum of the commission at Turf's opening meet this weekend, and it will be posted on the website.
Okay. Are there any matters that need to be placed on future agendas?
I think, Bob, a discussion of the stuff Bob brought up should probably be placed on an agenda.
Can you be
Okay.
more specific so I'll know what I'm putting on that agenda?
I guess a discussion of the interaction of the three permittees.
And I think that goes back to what we as a commission can and can't do. Maybe when we find that out, we'll
And I'd like to offer,
that known to the public.
if you want it, excuse me, Bob Hutton, President, HBBA, our involvement, if you want us to sit down with you, we're happy to sit down with you guys and tell you what we think is the right thing to do.
Good.
My problem is you can only do it 2 of us at a time.
Yeah.
Cannot have a
Open meeting
quorum
law.
unless we have a meeting.
Okay.
That's the,
So, only one of them can join me Saturday looking at toilets.
Fair enough, thank you.
Yeah,
Jay, you take care of that.
I'll be right there. I'll bring my brush. Call to the public. And I think everyone who signed up has spoken, so Kevin.
Kevin Owens, I'm an Arizona breeder. When I was president of the Breed Association, we attempted to address this. And we had a meeting set with the racetrack, all the parties involved. Jay and Dave were there, Lloyd was there, and Vince and Jerry. And when we talked about the despair that the breeders are going through in this state, the permittee stated he will not address anything until he gets racinos. So the industry's dying on the locomotive's breath. I mean, he's the head of the industry. You know, if he wanted to work with the breeders, if he wanted to try to figure out some sort of bill we could pass through to help this industry survive, to bring him fresh horses to his racetrack, he certainly could. It may cost him a little bit. It may cost the horseman a little bit. But I think the investment is certainly worthwhile. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. The next regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for 10 a.m. on Thursday, November the 8th at this building, this room, and is subject to change based on a quorum. For current information about the Arizona Racing Commission meeting schedule, please visit the Arizona Department of Gaming and Racing Division website or call Cassie Goodman, 602-771-4263.
That was her cell phone.
Yeah.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel? Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Thank you. It is 11:22. I'm sorry, did you have?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 11:22. This meeting is adjourned.